Hello everyone. Welcome to the fourth lecture. This is the last lecture for the second day on the workshop for the MATLAB for the beginners. So, I will be talking about applications of differential equations. So, let's start. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, this is the outline of my lecture. I will be first talking about growth models, then prey predator model, and then I will tell you about epidemic model, like how to formulate epidemic model, and finally Lorentz model. So, firstly, let's start with growth model. As you know that these days populations are growing at very higher rate. So, what will happen after say 30 to 40 years is our interest so that we can manage the things in the better way because there are limited resources, and if the population explodes at so much rate, we need resources to manage the things. So it is very important to know what will be the population after some years, right? So for this purpose we study growth models. So as you know that we are living in the changing world, and to describe how the things change, we use differential equation. So that is why we will study all these models which I have told you with the help of differential equations on. So for studying this growth model, I will consider a rabbit population. Suppose that we have a rabbit population, and let T be the number of the population at any given time T, right? And dp by dt is what? This is a rate of change of the population at very small time. So earlier what did the ecologist told? That let this uh, I call it, say this as n. Okay, so this is the population of the rabbit. So the derivative, that is dn by dt, is proportional to the number of population present at the instant. That means that if I have like 100 individual, the population growth will depend on that 100 individual, right? This is logical also, because they will reproduce and they will produce more species, and then more and more. So it was logical to consider that the rate of change is proportional to the number of the population present at that instant. Now, if you remove this proportionality sign, you will get this constant, and this is called as intrinsic growth rate. And this intrinsic growth rate is nothing but birth rate minus death rate, because this will contribute to the all over growth rate, right? So now this is a very simple differential equation. And this simple differential equation is also used for modeling the tumor growth in our body at the earliest stage. Like if somebody is detected with tumor and it is detected at the earlier stage, you will find that this simple differential equation can also help to model the tumor growth. Now, why I am saying that this models the tumor growth, or this models the population growth? If you find the solution of this, can you tell me the solution of this simple differential equation? I hope that you all are from maths background and you know that this is kind of variable separable differential equation. Can you give me the solution of this?
Ten times e की power RT.
Yes, very good. So this is, say you are saying that C1 e to the power RT. So this C1 can be found by the initial condition. Like suppose that I say that when I started this experiment, the population was 100, right? So I can find this is nothing but initial condition. So if I know this rate, that is the rate of growth. Okay. If anybody have some query, they can either raise their hand or they can unmute and ask, no problem, right? So you see, so if I know this, that this is 100, okay, and I know the growth rate, like it is growing at the rate of 0.5. So what can you do? You, if you want, like after 10 days, you can put this time as 10 and you can find out what will be the population, right? So this simple differential equation. You solve the simple differential equation, but it is giving you the solution of this is giving you what will be the population after some time, right? So this population is very simple, and you know that for building a model, we have to assume something. So for this building this model, we have this assumption like initial population is very small and no food or resource limitation. If you see the graph of this, it will be growing unlimited, right? Now, how much time you took to solve this by your hand? Maybe up to 1 minute, right? So here comes the MATLAB code, which can be used to solve the differential equation. This is a symbolic ODE solver in MATLAB. Just simply, if you have like been using MATLAB pre-trial version, I have shared the video also with you how to use it, and you have attended many labs also. So just write this code. You can write this code in your MATLAB, and then you can easily see that whatever you told me, MATLAB can also found that solution of differential equation with this inbuilt ODE solver, right? This is symbolic ODE solver, which is already given by MATLAB. So let us try this. I will just show you in the MATLAB also. I will just copy and paste this, and this is my command window. I will clear this out. Okay, so now if you see that I copy pasted just in my command window, I don't have to open the editor because it is
And
just a one.
you haven't
Yeah.
shared that MATLAB window. You have shared only the PPT window with us.
Okay. I'm just can you see it now? My
Yes, ma'am.
okay. So see the just I have written this simple code. This dn means that this is I'm solving first order differential equation, and this is what this is my initial condition. Like n0 is n naught. This is my initial condition. You can even put 150, but I want to make it more general, so I put it n naught. And when you will press enter key, okay, my this is showing some warning, but it will give answer. So this is n naught exponential, whatever answer you gave me, it is given by MATLAB also. So if you want to solve higher order, it's also very simple. Just you have to suppose that I have my equation like this: d square n by dt square is equal to some rt. So if just I have changed over here. So what can I do? I will just put 2 over here, right? And I want to delete this initial condition that I just want this MATLAB to solve simple this differential equation. So I will just write d2n is equal to this, and you can see that you are getting the analytic solution, right? So it is very simple to solve the differential equation with the help of MATLAB, where you have analytic solution. Obviously, there are some differential equation which cannot be solved analytically. So for that, we use numerical tool. But you can see that this simple, just you use this resolve and you just wrote your differential equation like this. This is not a difficult thing to do. So but don't become lazy in solving. Like nowadays what we do, we just use calculator and we forgot to calculate. So do not do like for every differential equation you are using MATLAB and you forgot how to solve differential equation also. So just this is like if you are stuck somewhere, you can obviously use. And this is another way. This way is like way lengthy. If you want to note down or you want to click photograph, you can take. Otherwise, we are just going ahead of this. Okay, so this is a example of the real life animal. This is a reindeer population, and it was seen that in 1910 there were only 4 males and 22 females. But in 1940, surprisingly, there were 2000. So if you can see the graph, it is following the exponential curve. So how can you draw the exponential curve? See, I have put n naught, that is my initial condition, as 100, R, that is my growth rate, as 0.02. This is what? This is creating a variable t that is from 0 to 200 with 1000 points in between. So it is discretizing. Mainly this is the lower limit of t, this is the upper limit, and this is the number of points which is in between this 0 to 200. Are you able to understand this thing? The work of this linspace? Now, okay. Now this is doing what? See, this is nothing but the solution you found out for the exponential growth model. So now here n naught will take 100 from above. This r will take 0.02 and t is what? T is from 0 to 200 और इसमें कितने points बीच में है? There are 1000 points. So it will first take 0, then it will calculate the value of y for t is equal to 0. Then 0.01, then it will calculate the value of y, right? For different values of t, it will find out the different values of y. So you will get 1000 values of y corresponding to 1000 values of t, because we have put 1000 discretization in between this. So now you can simply plot this. This is nothing what we do by hand. X की इस value के लिए y की ये value, x की इस value के लिए y की ये value. So it is doing the same thing. It is plotting t comma y, and this is doing what? Can anybody tell? This is just giving you the color. You have some color options in MATLAB. ये क्या कर रहा है? K is for black. K star is like, this is not visible. This is this star. It is plotting by making a star. If you want to omit this, you can also do it. You will get a simple this type of curve, right? And this is what? This is X label. If I want to want reader to understand my graph, I will give X label and Y label. So this is clear, I think. So now what you have seen till now, that the exponential growth model describes the growth in an unlimited environment. Unlimited environment means that population kabhi khatam hi nahi ho raha, it is growing unlimited way, which is not the reality, and that we will discuss in logistic model. But just see that something we observed over here is that when r is greater than 0, our population is growing. When r is less than 0, if we take r as negative, then we will see that our population will decline exponentially. That means that when our death rate is greater, r is basically what? Birth minus death. So if our death rate becomes greater than this birth rate, then what will happen? Our population will start declining exponentially, and zero growth will be observed when birth will be equal to the death rate. That means that r will be equal to 0. Then the rate of change will be 0, and obviously the population will attain a constant value. Now, can you do this question for me? Like, I have n naught, you can use MATLAB also. Now you have MATLAB, you have solution of your exponential model. Other values are what? This n naught is 300, r is 0.5, and I want to know what will happen after 5 years. Now suppose that r is given in a yearly basis. So what will be the value of my population after 5 years? Are you getting this? What we have to do? Nobody? आपको समझ में नहीं आ रहा क्या करना है? Okay. Just put this n naught over here, r over here, and t5. This 5 years you will put over here. So you will get the population. So this is basically coming out to be this. Is it okay? Now workshop means that you have to do some work ना. अभी आप चुपचाप से बैठे रहोगे, मुझे कैसे पता चलेगा आपको कुछ समझ में आ रहा है नहीं आ रहा है?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now we will go to the logistic population growth. Now what is this logistic population growth? As you have seen in the previous model, it was growing exponentially, but in reality the population cannot grow indefinitely. And this fact was realized by Charles Darwin in the description Struggle for Existence. in which the individual compete for the limited resources. So only the successful one will survive and it will pass on to the trade to the next generation. As you have might have watched Squid Game, there was a struggle for getting all the money, right? So in reality also we struggle for our existence, and only those species will survive that that are strong, right? So in this way the ecologists develop the logistic differential equation. Now see what is the difference, or what is the extra thing they gave. They multiplied the exponential model with this term, right? You can see that this is the exponential and they multiplied with this term. Now you can see that this term is equal to, matlab isko I can write like this also. So when my p is very small, when my p is small, you can see that this term is approximately equal to 1. So my rate of change of population will be similar to the exponential growth rate, right? And when my p is very large, or you can say when p is near to k, this term will become approximately equal to 0, right? When p is nearly equal to k, then this term will become nearly equal to 0. So in that case, you can see that the growth rate will become 0. That means that the population will achieve some constant position. So what is this? This is the carrying capacity. Carrying capacity means the number of population an environment can hold. Right? जैसे कि आपने suppose करो, this is a room and it can take only 500 people. Right? It can take only 500 people, and if there are more than 500 people, there will be something like low oxygen or something like that, and somebody have to die. Like this environment cannot hold people more than 500. So this we call it as carrying capacity, and it is denoted by this K. So if you see the graph of this logistic growth model, it is a graph. This blue one is for exponential growth and this red one is for logistic growth. So you can see that initially when the population was small, it was like the exponential growth only. But as the population start increasing, the growth rate becomes slow, and now it is limiting at this, because I have set my carrying capacity as 1500. Obviously for different environment we will have different carrying capacity. So if I have set my carrying capacity as 1500, that means that environment cannot hold more people than 1500. So you can see from this figure also. इसके बाद क्या हो रहा है, population यहीं पे जाके ये constant position ले रही है, इसके ऊपर नहीं जा रही है, because my environment cannot hold. So जो इसका backdraw था, that is it was growing unlimited way in an unlimited fashion. Here the population is becoming constant at after some period of time, and this is our limiting population, that is called a carrying capacity. So if now you can solve this differential equation again with the help of variable separable, like this is all, you can take pp one side and then you can do partial fraction and then you can integrate, and finally you will find the solution for this differential equation. And this differential equations can be also solved analytically with the help of MATLAB code. You can just write dsolve and you can see that you will get the analytic solution of this differential equation, right? Now you can also plot this graph whatever we have seen with the help of MATLAB code. Same चीज किया, देखो P naught मैंने 100 set कर दिया है, R is what 0.02, this K is carrying capacity I set to 500, and now again what I did, I have taken time from 0 to 500 with 1000 point. अब क्या है, T is from 0 to 500 with 1000 point in between, means now the y will calculate it from 0 to 500 और इसके बीच में कितने पॉइंट्स रहेंगे 1000. सो इट विल कैलकुलेट ऑल वैल्यूज ऑफ y एंड t और इसके करस्पॉन्डिंग इधर ये प्लॉट कर देगा. So this one is again x label, y label. So this figure is also clear to you. Now this is a real life example where it is showing that how the population really settles down in an S-shaped curve. This is a paramecium population which was grown in lab, and this one is a data point, like they observed the growth rate of the paramecium after some days and they plotted the data. So this dot one is representing the actual data. This is actual data which was observed in the lab, and this was they used a logistic model to fit this growth. So what we can do, see, if I am on this 20th day, I took all these data. Now I see that my logistic model is also going right over it, like it is fitting the data. Then what can I do? I can get the value of my paramecium on 100 day also. इतने दिन का मुझे वेट नहीं करना है कि I sit and I see the paramecium to grow. Beforehand only, by using my logistic, this, if I put my rate, whatever rate is fitting my data and whatever is the carrying capacity it is getting, if I put my T100 over here, I can get the solution. Solution means the population, whatever the paramecium will be after 100 years. Obviously, it would be around the carrying capacity only. But this is the beauty of differential equation, that you can somehow predict the future if you if you get the parameters, fitting parameters. Okay, so now there are some other examples also where we can see that the population is not settling exactly to the logistic model. You can see that this is a data of Daphnia population which was again grown in lab, but for certain period it was seen that it overshoots the carrying capacity. Here this is the carrying capacity around say 130 or 140, but during this period of time it was seen that it overshoots the carrying capacity, but finally it started declining back to the carrying capacity. Now this is another example. Here the sparrow population was allowed to grow in the natural habitat. See, this is the difference. Here they are growing in the natural habitat, and here they were grown in lab. So somehow they fitted the logistic model. But here you can see that this population is fluctuating around the carrying capacity rather than settling exactly over it. So sometimes it is also seen that the logistic population doesn't fit the exact population growth. So these are the few remarks that obviously we have seen that many natural population have that logistic growth type of shape, but it is what simplification of the real world dynamics. And also what we consider the carrying capacity to be fixed, that doesn't change. But some animals have a fluctuating carrying capacity, like in winters they cannot survive, in summers they can survive, and vice versa. Some populations have more carrying capacity in summer, less in winter, and some have more in winter, less in summer, right? But in our model we have fixed one carrying capacity, so this is a drawback. And also there are natural calamities like earthquake, volcano, which may also alter the carrying capacity. And also in addition to this, obviously as a species they cannot exist all alone. They share the environment with other species also, right? So these factors were not considered. But to the wildlife biologists who are actually concerned about managing the population and to prevent extinction and overpopulation, these all factors should be understood and should be modeled properly. So now we will see ecological model. Why I am discussing this ecological model? We have seen that in the previous case there was only one population we are talking about, But as I have told you, they do not exist all alone. They have to share their environment with other population also. So this is a figure of a cat and this is a hare. So this lynx population is a predator population and this is a prey population because it eats and it consumes its prey for energy and survival. So we will see how we can model this kind of situation. So it was developed by Lotka Volterra after you can see that First World War, you can say about 1925, 1926. So Lotka Volterra were two different individual and they designed individual prey predator model during the like a year gap of 1 or 2. So it was around 1925 to 1926 where they gave Lotka and Volterra gave the prey predator model. So what are the basic assumption? As I have already told you that for making a model, we have to consider some assumption. It is not possible to consider all the reality because then the differential equation will become so complex and it cannot be solved like with numerical or some other method also. So we have to take some assumptions. So what are the assumptions they considered? They considered that the system is closed. Now what does this closed system mean? Ki there is no immigration and there is no emigration. That is, nobody is going outside this environment and nobody is coming. So they have considered a closed system, right? So in the closed system, they considered two animals, that is the prey and predator. Like you considered only two things, what I have shown you in picture. Suppose that in an environment there is only two species, that is prey and predator, nobody else, right? These were the assumptions. And they also assumed that the predator hunts on prey and prey grazes vegetation, right? ये क्या खा रहा है? Prey खा रहा है and this prey is grazing on vegetation. Predator population is totally dependent. ये भी एक assumption है that it is totally dependent on prey species for its food supply. And prey species has unlimited food supply because it is depending on vegetation. It was considered that prey species has unlimited food supply and only threat to the prey population is the predator population which is eating it. So it can be described, whatever I have said can be described by a simple system of two nonlinear first order differential equation. So what is the differential equation? I will just make you understand from this only. See, if my y is 0, this x denotes the prey population. X, I will say this is written over here is the size of prey population at the time t, and y is what? Is the size of predator population at time t. Now if you see, if my y is 0, यानी कि कोई predator नहीं है, then what will be the scenario? X dash is equal to ax. If there is no predator, can you see this y is 0? Then what will happen? You have solved this. This is growing exponentially. So in the absence of the predator, the prey population will grow exponentially as they have unlimited food supply. Okay, my voice is not audible?
No, ma'am, it's audible.
Okay.
And it's clear also.
Somebody is writing that it is not audible. I think that Mohammed, you may check your internet connection because other can hear my voice. So now what is happening over here? That we have prey population and we have also the predator population. Predator is given by y, prey is given by x. Now when they interact, see, this is the interaction term. You understand that when prey is 0, then the prey population will grow exponentially. Now when there is a interaction between prey and predator, this is the interaction term. That means that prey and predator are interacting. So what will happen? Prey will eat this, predator will eat the prey, right? And then there is a negative sign. That means that the death of the prey. This negative sign is representing the death, right? So this is happening at the rate of alpha. And then whatever which is bad for prey is good for predator because it will get energy to survive. So here you can see that the interaction will have positive sign for the predator species. This is predator and that was for prey. The earlier was for the prey population. So here there was a minus sign because the interaction was harmful for the prey population, but it was beneficial for the predator population. So there is a plus sign. Now you can see that if x is 0, means no prey population. So you can see that there is a negative sign. That means my y dash will be minus of cy. So you can see that it will decline exponentially. So this is the model they gave. This is the basic Lotka Volterra or prey predator model, and everything I have told you. So I have plotted this with the help of the MATLAB code by taking the parameter value A as 4, C as 3, alpha as 2, gamma as 3, and these are the initial values. Initial values means कि जब I started the experiment, I saw that there were 10, say, rabbit and 5 lynx population. So other parameters, whatever I have said, this is nothing but the growth rate. This is also the growth rate of predator. This is the interaction rate, and this is whatever is converting into the predator. So these parameters we have to give to our MATLAB program. And after giving this parameter and solving this system of non-linear differential equation, this is first order and this is non-linear. Why this is non-linear? Can anybody tell me that why this system of equation is non-linear?
Because
Yes.
dependent variable is multiplied.
Yes, right. Yes, okay. So you know, so this is a non-linear. No, so when I solve this with MATLAB, I am getting this. Now see what is the physical interpretation of this. I will talk from this because this is a clear view. See, this blue one is a prey population and this red one is for predator. That means that if you consider this as time, the x-axis as time and this as population, you can see that right, like after 2.5 days, you can say that prey population starts rising. Now this is rising, then what will happen to predator population? Predator will get more food to eat because here the rabbit are rising and there were few predators. See over here there are few predators and they will get more food to eat, so they will grow more and more. They will eat, they will have energy, they will reproduce and they will grow, and as they will grow they will eat the rabbits, so they will decline, and when they decline, predator population will not have any food to eat, so they will also decline after them. But as the predator population declines, prey population will get a better environment to live and they will grow up again. So this cycle you can also observe in the real life also. That is what we call it as ecological balance or ecological cycle. That one species grow, other species eats, balances it, and then it again gets, and you can see how you can simulate this. You have drawn a mathematical modeling by looking at the actual scenario, and you can get the simulation or result which is actually observed in the environment also. So this is a time series graph and this is the phase portrait between prey and predator, which is also showing you the same thing, that the prey and predator will like move on or go on and off again and again. Now this is a MATLAB code which I have used to draw those figures. So you can see that a new thing what I have done, because this cannot be solved analytically. If you try to solve this, you will see that this since this is a non-linear model, we can linearize it and we can find some equilibrium point and we can do some stability analysis. I will not go in that detail, but you cannot find the analytic solution. So what we go for the numerical solution. And for numerical solution, there is a very good inbuilt solver OD45. There are other solver also like OD23. I will just show you. There are OD45, which is the famous one, and it solve almost every type of problem. Then there is OD23, OD113. This is for the non-stiff differential equation, right? And this is for the OD, like these are also the numerical solver, but for stiff differential equation. So this stiff differential equation I will not discuss, because these are those differential equations which are numerically unstable until and unless h is very very small. Like जब आपने अभी सुबह क्लास लगाई होगी सपना मैम के, so she must have told you about that how to use Range Kutta method. She used this h as step size. So this step size need to be chosen very much carefully for the stiff differential equation. Otherwise, you will get a numerically unstable thing. So we will not go with this. We will just use the non-stiff differential equation solver, because our OD are non-stiff. And in this, OD45 gives most accurate result, and they use Range Kutta fourth order method with adaptive, like h is not fixed. It's MATLAB intelligently selects the value of h. Even if you do not provide the value of h, what the MATLAB do, it intelligently selects own value of h and will provide you the answer. I will show you everything in the MATLAB. Just to understand this thing, that in MATLAB we have two kind of solver: non-stiff differential equation solver and stiff differential. So for our problem, we will be only concentrated towards non-stiff, and mainly towards OD45. Not in this, because this is not accurate as OD45, and this is used mainly for computationally challenging ODs. So our work, and this is the most famous one only, so this we will use OD45. So now let's see our program once again. So obviously this is an inbuilt function. So MATLAB will accept the input argument in this way only. You cannot change the order, like you are putting y naught over here, because it is already defined in MATLAB. So what you have to do, you have to give three input arguments to OD45. The first one is the differential equation. This is nothing but this is a pointer to the function, which is nothing but the differential equation. I will show you in my programming also, but this is what this first argument is: our differential equation to whatever is it in our right hand side, right? We have to write over here the first argument. We have to write our differential equation, whatever is there in our right hand side. This is what this is: t naught to tn means initial time and final time. We have to specify, like I want to simulate for 0 to 100 days, or I want to simulate for 0 to 365 days, right? We can give that our starting value and our end value. And this is what this is a initial condition. Like I have told you that I have considered initial value like 10 and 5. For Rabbit it's 10, for Linux it's 5. So you have to put the initial condition over here. Now OD45 will solve this differential equation numerically and will give you the answer. I think in the previous class you have done Range Kutta method, right? Where you can also get the solution of the differential equation. This is the same thing, but this is doing what? This is doing internally everything. You don't have to write so much of code. This is just one line numerical solver that is already given by MATLAB, which makes your life much more easier. You don't have to write so many things to get the solution of the differential equation. So this is the MATLAB code. This, even if I delete this, it will automatically, if I put, I will just show you in my MATLAB. So this is what this is. I am doing time 0 to 20, and this is the point in between, like 0, then it will take 0.01, then 0.02 up to 20. So it is creating so many points. Now this is what, this is I am creating a function in t and y, and you will see that this is nothing but my differential equation. Here y1 is x, we have to write in this way, like this is my first species, this y1 is first species and this is second species. So if I write like this, 4x minus 2xy, right, this is my x dash. Y dash is what, this is minus 3y plus 3xy. So you understand, this x is now written in the programming as y bracket 1, and this y is written as, like if you have another species you can use y3 to write. Okay, so MATLAB will understand that you are dealing with two variables. So this is, and this value 4 minus 2 are the value of parameter. I have told you I have given a as 4, alpha as 2, gamma as 3, and so on. So these are the parameter values. So here you have specified your differential equation, right? And this ODE45 is taking 3 input argument. This h is nothing but here only I have written, so you can see that I have written it like above, and then I have written it h over here. So same thing is over this, like this h will be called over here, and then this time t is 0 to 20, and this is our initial condition 10, 5, right? This is for Rabbit, this is for Linux. So now it will solve on its own this differential equation. This is just a 2-line code and it will give you the solution. Solution, whatever I have shown you over here. This is just plotting. This is plotting t against the first species, t against the second species, right? And this is plotting both the species. You will do this in your lab class also, so don't worry. Just have an idea that how you can use inbuilt MATLAB functions for solving your differential equations. You will do all these experiment in your lab where you will like clarify everything, that what this hold on means, legend means. You will see everything on your lab class. Now if there is any problem you can ask. So there is a real life example also where this type of situation is seen. It is a here Linux data between 1845 to 1935. So whatever we get in the MATLAB, the same type of on and off behavior is seen in the real life scenario also. Now we will move on to model epidemics. Now you have seen that in these days COVID-19 situation, many scientists are using these type of models, epidemic model, to predict the future situation or the numbers of the infected people, right? So that they can plan in beforehand that how many beds will be required. So we will just see initial we will get some initial knowledge of how this epidemic modeling is done. So before understanding how to do modeling, we must know these three terms. You must have heard about epidemic. So what is this epidemic? Epidemic means a disease that affects a large number of people within a community or population or a region. Means the spread is limited. It can spread a large number of population, but it is limited to a community or a region. And it is called as pandemic when the disease is spread towards the multiple countries or continents. Now if this disease spread towards the multiple countries and continents, we will call it as pandemic. And what is endemic? Endemic is a disease that remains in the population for a decade or two. Like this type of diseases come very fast and they can also go very fast. But endemic is what? Those type of diseases which remains in the population for a decade or two. So example is malaria. So it is endemic to many parts of Africa. So I hope this three terminology is clear: epidemic, pandemic, and endemic.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
What is the epidemiological models? Epidemiological models is the study of the epidemic disease and the factors that influences its disease, its incidence, distribution, and control. So mathematicians mainly use this mathematical model to make predictions about epidemics. Obviously, I have already told you that to keep the model simple and trackable, we make certain assumptions and relaxations. Now, why do we need this epidemiological model? So the answer to this is we can know how big the outbreak will be, how will it develop over time, what are the key determinants of epidemic. We can also guide the data collection. We can also forecast the future direction of the spread of the epidemic and what will be the potential impact of interventions. Right? If we design the epidemiological model, we can get answer of all these questions by it. So it is very important to understand how to design this epidemiological model. So we will concentrate only toward this deterministic epidemiological model. There are stochastic epidemiological models also, but today we will only discuss this deterministic. So what is this deterministic? Mainly in this, the population is divided into compartment. I will tell you this, what does this mean that the population is divided into compartment. And the aim of the deterministic epidemic model means that what will happen on average. It talk about the average. It doesn't tell that one individual will become will recover when or something like that, but it tells that what will happen in average to all the population, right? So it will always tell you what happens on average in the population. It will not take one person and tell you and give you the information about him. And in this, we considered that the individual are mixing homogeneously. That means that every person has an equal probability of mixing with other. It is not that this person will not meet this person because of distance and all those things. In this, we consider that every person will have the equal chance of meeting with one another, right? So these were the things which is considered in the deterministic epidemic model. So now we are going to see the very initial model which was made for influenza epidemic, and it was developed by Kermark and McKendrick. What he did, he divided the entire population into three parts: susceptible, infected, and recovered. Means that if I take all the population and I distribute them, or I make the collection that whoever is infected come in one group, whoever is recovered come in one group, who has not got the disease are called as susceptible. That means that they can have contact with individual, but till now they are not having disease, but they are susceptible, and they are also not recovered, because after infection people become recovered and they are immune, because you know that in COVID case also the person who are infected when get recovered are immune for some period of time. They cannot get the disease again after 2 days, so they come under another class. So in the compartmental model, we divide the population in this way, that okay, these are the susceptible, these are infected population, and these are recovered. So they also divided the model like this. And I will just discuss S, I, and R. There are many other compartment also we can make, but that will increase the complexity. But my aim is to just to introduce you how to design the epidemic model. So in their model also they made certain assumptions. The first one is they consider that the population is very large, latent period is zero. Okay, can anybody tell what is this latent period? Latent period is incubation period. If you have heard about incubation period, like if suppose that I am infected and I am getting in contact with uninfected person, so this takes some time that this person becomes or can spread disease. Like in the case of COVID, people require at least 5 days to become infectious. It is not that when I come in contact with this uninfected person, it immediately starts spreading the disease. This is not the case. But in their model, they suppose that the latent period is 0. But in originality, this is not the case, because you have seen that whenever a person becomes infected, like they have infection, but they not immediately start spreading the disease. They take some time, like 3 days or 4 days or 5 days, and after that they start spreading the disease. But in their model, they considered incubation or latent period as 0. Right? Is this clear? Oh. If you have any queries, please ask. Now, after they considered this also, that after recovery, the individuals become immune, right? They cannot catch the infection again. And they consider the force of infection as this. That means that susceptible only can come in contact with the fractions of diseased people, and only beta proportion will of the contact between the susceptible and infectives will result in infections. So with this, they designed this epidemic model, where you can see that here there is minus sign, because now the susceptible and infected are interacting and they are taking them susceptible from their class to infected class. Right? Is this clear why this is minus and this is positive sign? Because infective people are interacting with susceptible people, and this susceptible people are getting infected. So this class, they are taking the beta portion of susceptible people into the infective class. And here this gamma is recovery rate. Person are also becoming recovered. So this is going minus sign to this, to the recovered class. Right. So this is the basic SIR model, which was given by Kermark and McKendrick for the influenza disease. So now this is again the MATLAB code, which is similar. Here you will only find that I have written the differential equation over here, and these are the initial condition. So here I have 3 system. So this is one equation, then I will put semicolon, this is second equation, then semicolon, this is third equation. So any number of equation you have, you can solve easily by ODE45 inbuilt numerical solver. So if I execute this one, see this is a comment sign. So if I take H as this, here only the difference is in the parameter. If you see, I have changed parameter over here and over here, and I am getting 2 different results. You can see that what is the, how the parameters are important. Here beta is this and gamma is this, means the recovery is much more. So you can see that infection is going to 0. This red one is for infection. And when recovery is low, you can see that there is a outbreak of disease over here. You can say see that here there is no red outbreak, means infective people are 0 because the recovery rate is high, and here there is a outbreak of the disease. So it was, there is one important parameter that is called as basic reproduction number, which tells you that disease will grow or disease will become 0. So what is this basic reproduction number? I will just tell you with a simple thing. You just see this second equation. If I want to make this rate of change greater than 0, means that the rate of change of infective is in increasing type. Like this one is greater than 0 means I is increasing. So if this is greater than 0, I can write this as beta S R. I will take I as common and I can write like this, because I is not less than 0. So this one will be like this. So I can write this as beta S by N is greater than gamma, or I can write as beta by gamma S by N is greater than 1. Now, can you see that for this inequality to hold true, my beta by gamma should be greater than 1, because S by n will be what? S by n will be what? Can you tell me? This n is the total population. This n is total population. And this one is susceptible. So it will be always be less than 1.
Less than 1.
So this term should be greater than 1. And we named this beta by gamma as basic reproduction number. So when this one is greater than 1, in this case you can see that this one will be beta by gamma will be greater than 1. So there is infection. And when this beta by gamma is less than 1, we will see no infection. So that's why I was saying that this basic reproduction number is important, because what does this epidemiologist do? They take out this basic reproduction number and they see how to make this value as less than 1. So focus on that parameters only. Are you getting the idea? Like somehow if I make this as less than 1, that means that the disease will die out. So this is the interpretation. When R naught is less than 1, then the disease die out, and when the R naught is greater than 1, then disease can invade. So we always try to make this situation anyhow. So epidemiologists try to make this R naught less than 0 and give the measures that do this, do that, so that this can become less than 1 and disease may ultimately die out. This thing I have taken from paper which was published in 2020, and you can see that they have also used this simple differential equation. The additional one is only this E exposed. E is nothing but whatever I have told you, that incubation, about incubation period, they have introduced it in a class. Like people are contacting with infected and they are going to this class where the person is not spreading the disease but they are infected, right? And after 2-3 days they will go to this class, I class, and everything is almost the same. And they have taken their like they for this model R naught is this, and they plotted this graph. And now you can also edit your program, this program what I have shown you, to get their result also. This is your program, and you can just add one equation over here and you can also generate their results. So you can see that how the researchers are now using this differential equation to get a future prediction about the epidemic. Right now, finally, I think there is some time, right? So we will quickly finish this chaos theory. So what is this? This is the last section. So what is the chaos theory? This is mainly a branch of mathematics that deals with the system that appears to be orderly, but they have chaotic behavior. So until now, what we have done, we say that, okay, this is differential equation and this is deterministic. Deterministic means what? That if we give an input, it will show the same output, right? This is deterministic thing. We say that whatever input we give, we will get the same output. But in 1961, Edward Lorenz found that this is not true. Even the deterministic system can give a chaotic behavior. So what is chaos? Chaos is mainly a aperiodic long-term behavior in deterministic system that exhibits sensitive dependence to the initial condition. Now what does that mean? I will just tell you. So just to see how he introduced, then you will understand that what does this sensitivity to the initial condition means. In 1960, Edward Lorenz, he was a great scientist and a meteorologist. He was working in MIT and he was experimenting with some weather prediction model, right? In 1961, what he did, he thought of, like, I want to reproduce the result what I get before 5 days, right? So what he did, he started changing the parameters. As I have shown you, there are parameters. Suppose that these are the parameters, and like whatever you found 5 days earlier, you thought that I will put that parameter only because that was giving me a better result. So he started to thinking like that, that I want that pattern only. So what he did, instead of typing this, he just wrote that what if I neglect this 3 digit, it is not a much big deal. So what he did, he just put these 3 digit instead of this 6 digit after decimal. So what he saw, that the system gave a very different result than before. Like before, it was giving a very stable type of thing. And when he put only this 3 digit, the system becomes chaotic. It was going like anything. So he then discovered that even my system is deterministic. Deterministic means if I give a input, it will give a same output. It is not the case. Even a slight change in the initial condition, you can see that how small the change is, can give a very different or drastically different behavior. So this was known as butterfly effect. And why he called it as butterfly effect? One of the thing is that his attractor looks like butterfly. It is a Lorentz attractor. It looks like butterfly. And he also gave an analogy, like suppose that if a butterfly flap its wings in Brazil, it will it can create tornado in Texas. Means a very small difference in one part of the system can produce an exponentially larger effect to the system. So he gave this idea and said that it is impossible to predict the weather accurately, because weather is so like sensitive to the numbers. If you change a little bit of number, the scenario can change completely. So he gave this idea that no, we cannot uh, give or we cannot predict the weather accurately any time. Like it is impossible. So we will see this one also in our lab. Like this is a Lorentz equation which he gave, and you can see that it is looking like a very simple system, right? So these are all the variables which are related to atmosphere, their temperature, their convective flow, which we are not very much interested, but we are interested in what? This dynamic. See how beautiful the graph of this simple differential equation is coming, and this is nothing but this is chaos, because the system is not repeating anywhere. You will see that this is in a area which is constrained, like it is not going beyond this area, but the dynamics is not repeating itself. It will continue to take a different path from this, like this small area, they will continue to take different and different path, and they will not repeat. So such type of phenomena is called as chaos. So how this chaos is, this is the parameter. So he set the parameters at 10, 28 and minus 8 by 3 for this, and he saw that this chaotic behavior was observed. You can find the paper over here also if you are interested. Like you can see this paper which was given by Lorentz in 1963. So this is a programming which you will do also in your lab class. So where you can generate this beautiful figure which is a chaotic attractor. So now I will end by this that there are several attractors. There are point attractor, limit cycle. Limit cycle I have already shown you that this type of behavior which you have seen in prey predator. And point attractor is one that when the system settles down to a point, like we can have these three types of attractor for any system. First one is point attractor, means every solution gets attracted toward this point. So this one is called as point attractor. If instead of settling to a point, if it settles to a cycle, then it is called as limit cycle. And chaotic attractor, I have already shown you that they have some particular geometrical shape, and all the trajectories are attracted in that particular geometrical shape only. So that one is called as chaotic attractor. So there are several chaotic attractor. There is Chua attractor, Duffing attractor. This one I have already shown. Lorentz attractor, Rosler attractor. So you cannot like you cannot see that just by looking at the equation that it will have a chaos or not. It is a matter of research to find out whether the system is having chaotic behavior or not. And the minimum requirement to find the chaos is it should have three variables, right? It should have three or more variables and it should be non-linear. Then only you can like think of finding the chaos. If it is linear and having less than three variables, then you cannot find the chaos in the system. So it is a waste of time to find a chaos. But you have if you have a system where you have three variables and it is non-linear, then you can suspect that okay, can this system have a chaos or not? But this is also a area of research that whether the system is having a chaotic behavior or not. And obviously for every parameter the chaotic behavior is not observed. For example, if you in your lab class also you will see that if you change the value of these parameters, right, this is the special parameter where you will get chaos. But if you change these parameters, you will see that you will get a different kind of attractor. Just play with these parameters in your lab class and see that where you are getting a stable cycle or limit cycle, right? So this was the end of my lecture. Thank you so much. So I hope you got something from the lecture. If you have any question, please ask. No question?
Ma'am, shall we have the PPT which you shared here?
Yeah, I can share you. I think that it will be uploaded in the website, whatever website is for the workshop. You have that link, na?
Sorry, ma'am, I don't have the link of website. Do we have any such website? Will you please share the link here in chat box?
I will share you. I will share you definitely. You can just give me your email ID, right?
Sure, sure, ma'am. Should I write it here?
Yeah, you can give me over here also.
Okay.
And you need to fill one feedback form also, which I'm going to give you the link. So you know that if you fill this feedback form, only then you will get your certificates. So please fill this, and there will be a lab session after it at 3 p.m. and after that there will be a validatory section. So what you have to do, you have to fill this form before like today night, and then only you will get your certificate. Have you got this?
Ma'am, actually in website they are not uploaded study material. Only they have uploaded assignments only.
Okay, I will ask like Kavita ma'am to do so.
Okay, ma'am, and also ma'am video lectures because one lecture I forgot to join.
Okay, one lecture you didn't join of
Yes.
yesterday's.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I will do this.